Hey everyone, this is Jennifer Velasco, your realtor with eXp Realty and Heart in Your Home Real Estate Network. Hope everyone is doing great today. Today we're going to be talking about some more information regarding mortgage loans. There's a lot of questions going around about what we need for a mortgage loan, what options are there in regards to people who need financing, who don't have down payments, questions about credit. All of those are excellent things, and we're going to cover some of those today. So I have with us today Marianne Weddington from Village Bank. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Marianne. Tell us a little bit about yourself and Village Bank.
Well, thanks for having me today, Jennifer. I have been a mortgage loan officer for over 22 years. The Village Bank is a local community bank based out of Richmond, Virginia. So we keep everything local. Everything stays right here in the Richmond area.
That is excellent. Everything local is one of our prides of Richmond, I think. That's wonderful. Yes. Well, our first question is going to be regarding different mortgage loan options or products, as sometimes we call them. We know that there's first-time home buyers. There are some people who this could be their second, third, fourth home. There's also people who invest. So I know there's a lot of different types of loans. Can you break down for us some of those different kinds of loans and the differences between them?
Sure. So as you said, there are so many different loan programs, and each one of those have different guidelines that we have to meet. Every home buyer is different, so their situation is different. So we have products to meet all those different needs. Some of those programs, obviously we need to review their income, their debts, their credit, their assets, to determine which program would meet their financial needs and the guidelines.
Okay. Can you give us maybe a few more specifics? Let's say mention a few of them, because for one, I know a lot of people hear about the FHA program, which is many times for first-time home buyers, but there are so many other options as well. Can you break those down a little bit more for us?
Absolutely. So veterans or current military can access the VA home loan. First-time home buyers, an excellent resource with them is Virginia Housing. VHDA is a wonderful programs for first-time home buyers. And then, as you mentioned, FHA and conventional have various programs within their specialties. And then, of course, for rural housing, if you're purchasing in a rural area, there's USDA.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds great. Now, I do get this question many times when people are looking to buy a home, but maybe don't have all of the cash that they might need to make that down payment and whatnot. So I know that we have a few options, especially right now, regarding 100% financing and also grant options. I know a lot of our viewers sometimes don't understand what those could mean. So could you explain that for us?
No, certainly, and that is the good news. There are 100% financing options that are available. VHDA, Virginia Housing, has those 100% programs available. VHDA does have income limits, so we do have to review the income of the clients to be sure they're under their maximum.
Okay.
But in addition to 100% financing options are also grant programs. Grant programs can become available at different times of the year.
Right.
So it's important to stay in touch with your mortgage loan officer to see if there are grants available. Grants help with down payment and closing cost.
And if I'm not mistaken, they are available now.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the extra good
Do you
news.
know about how much is available at this time? Or
Sure.
can you give us a little bit more information for those who are really interested in taking that step now, how these funds can help?
Correct. So we have $5,000 available for first-time home buyers, $7,500 available for community partners. And a community partner is someone that, say, works for a hospital or in healthcare, those in law enforcement or the fire agencies, or even in your local schools. Those are our community partners. And then up to $10,000 for veterans and military.
Wonderful. Well, these grant programs are something that we would definitely encourage everyone to take advantage of. And they just came available, I believe, just about a month ago. Is that right?
That's right.
And this is random times throughout the year. So if you are really interested in taking that step forward and purchasing your home, these funds are available for you. Now to address a few more questions. We do know that also credit, we've mentioned it throughout our interview here, but credit plays a big part when it comes to applying for a home loan. Can you give us maybe some advice regarding credit and how it affects really your application when it comes to a mortgage loan?
credit is very important when it comes to the mortgage process. So it's important to establish credit and maintain your credit history, paying your bills on time.
Right.
And when we say establish credit, I am not encouraging anyone to go into debt. That is not what I'm encouraging
Do not
here.
go buy a new car.
Do not go buy a new car or a house full of furniture. You don't have to do that. You can establish credit by, say, 2 secured credit cards.
Right.
Any credit cards you have, the important thing is keep your balances low. You do not want to get your balance to be near your credit limit. That will hurt your credit score for having higher balances on your credit cards.
And I have heard advice to keep it like at least under 50%
Correct.
of your limit, which could be another good tip. Is there any other good tips or advice you want to share about credit?
Certainly, it's important to pay on time.
Another good point.
Another good point. So you don't want to, anytime you're 30 days or more past due, creditors can report that to the credit bureaus, which
Yes.
will reduce your credit score. Another important thing to do is never to ignore late payment notices.
Oh,
If
yes.
you've received a late payment notice, please contact that creditor. Don't ignore them. Make payment arrangements or ensure that they've received a payment you thought you mailed.
Excellent advice. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, another question that I have had a lot of times are with those who have their own businesses, small business owners or independent contractors. Many times they run into more obstacles when they apply for mortgage loans. Can you give us any advice or how-tos, let's say, to help our small business owners get ready to make that step if they're looking to buy a home?
Right. The documentation is different when you're self-employed, have your own business. We typically require 2 years of your federal, personal, and business tax returns, so we can review that. And when we look at your tax returns, it is your gross income, but yet we have to look at the expenses of your business.
Exactly, yes.
So it's those expenses that will reduce your qualifying income. So to say you're $50,000 in sales or receipts for your business, but you have $30,000 in expenses, well, then your qualifying income is going to be the $20,000 is what we're going to base it on.
Well, that definitely makes sense. I've seen that before where I've had people who make $60,000 and after expenses have only come away with $5,000. So
Right.
we weren't able to qualify. No, so that is very important. I have seen many times business owners try not to take everything off of your taxes, right? But yes, there's many options for our small business owners, and of course we'd be glad to speak with anybody regarding any further questions when it comes to applying for the mortgage loan with your small business. Now, our last question, you work a lot, you have a lot of experience with mortgage loans and dealing with buyers. What would be your general advice of different issues you're seeing right now, more common things that are happening in the last 6 months to a year, and what would be your advice for our viewers?
This time of year, we're in the fall and nearing the end of the year, and people are starting to think about January. What we all typically do in January is prepare to file those tax returns.
That is right.
Many of us receive tax refunds, and so it's a wonderful opportunity to use that tax refund as some down payment for a deposit on your contracts.
Exactly. I definitely think it's a wonderful idea. If you have that extra cash coming in, what better way to use it than to invest in something for you and your family and something that is really an investment for your future. Well, that's all my questions for today, Marianne. I really appreciate you being with us here, sharing your knowledge, which is so valuable, and we look forward to being able to speak with you again.
Absolutely happy to answer any of your clients' questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.